Hi everybody, this is Michael Ojijimi with Stack IT Training. I'm here to discuss Stack IT Training's business analysis program. So we hear about business analysis all the time, and we might or might not know a few business analysts in our lives, but we hear the ones we know, we hear they have job satisfaction and they make pretty good money. So who's a business analyst, and what is business analysis? So business analysis is the practice of enabling change in an organizational context by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. And who's a business analyst? A business analyst is someone who analyzes an organization or business domain and documents its business or processes or systems, assessing the business model or its integration with technology. Why are we so successful at Stack IT Training, at teaching the business analysis course? Well, the reason is we teach our business analysts about different stages of the software development life cycle as it pertains to business analysts using real life applications. So we basically, teach our students from requirements elicitation to requirements documentation, proper requirements documentation, to the development aspect of things, testing and evolution. We use about 3 live applications with different lines of businesses. This way our students can get a real feel of the business analysis career and hereby learn the discipline faster. These applications also give them experience to talk about in an interview. A lot of training programs don't give experience. So this program, you're gonna get actual experience of working on live applications that that have different lines of businesses. So the students are able to sound more believable in an interview. While gathering requirements for applications, the students also look out for loopholes in the business process. So they can re-engineer the business process if they have to. This is actually great, as a lot of students have been asked in the past about business process re-engineering, basically how have they been able to find loopholes, what are the loopholes, and how were they able to document those loopholes and basically effect a change, right? So we try to give our students that experience here too. So at Stack IT Training, we use industry standard applications, right, to document our requirements, like Jira, Confluence. Those are the 2 main tools that we use to document our requirements. So all our applications at Stack IT Training are accessible through the website. So for instance, the ClickSales reporting application is a retail reporting application. This is the first application that that is introduced to the students. Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is the first application that is security. Security is a big deal. This is the first application that is introduced to the students, and the students basically take this application and reverse engineer it, and basically extracting the requirements out of it. So basically they write the requirements that lead to this end product, thereby learning how to write the actual functional requirements. And then also we teach them how to properly document these requirements using Confluence and Jira. So the students actually write requirements in both Agile and Waterfall spaces. So for instance, for a particular feature on the application, they're gonna write requirements for that feature in both the Agile, user stories, Agile space using user stories, and then in the Waterfall space writing that functional requirements, traceability matrices. So writing forward and backward traceability matrices. So the program is very robust in that way. So students basically come out of this course with a wealth of knowledge. All right, so we teach our students the right requirements both in the Agile and Waterfall space. software development methodologies. So I'm going to show you an example of, one of my students' functional requirement document. So this is a functional requirement document that's been written in the Agile space. So it's detailed. It shows the target release, the epic, the document status, document owner, designer, developers, quality assurance team. So all the team members, that are involved in this project. The information is put into the functional requirement document, and then the functional requirement document has all these key topics: the business problem, goals, assumptions, area of systems affected, actors and personas, workflow, process flow, use case diagrams, non-functional requirements, and so on and so forth. So the functional requirement document written by each student is very, very detailed, to say the least. Very, very detailed, right? So and then they also in the Agile space, they write acceptance criteria for these functional requirements. The acceptance criteria are stored in Jira, right? So the acceptance criteria is what the developers, what the testers use to validate the requirements written by the business analyst. So thereby kind of like check in the functional requirement to make sure it's doing what the business problem is stating. So outside of Confluence and Jira, well, actually I also like to show you our students basically also draw process flow diagrams. They draw use case diagrams, they draw mock-ups for a lot of these features, which is pretty awesome because it's they don't have to imagine it. It's real life, is right there. They basically have to obviously become intimate with the application so they can know how to know the processes, different processes, and so they're able to better draw the process flows and use case, identifying the actors and things like that, so they can properly represent the different actors in the use case diagrams. So an example of one of such projects is this one, where the student basically has a use case diagram for this feature. By the way, the students are going to be working on 6 to 7 different major projects. So this is a very, very busy class. Then this is a process flow for it's actually a swim lane process flow for this application. So the students are given this project and they write the functional requirements, and then they further clarify their functional requirements by drawing the use case diagram, drawing the process flow diagram, and then also obviously also reflecting the different actors in the swim lane process flow diagram, and also they draw mock-ups for what the feature should look like, thereby kind of giving the developer more insight on what this new feature needs to look like, right? And what the business analyst thinks that the stakeholders want, basically. All right. So these are all examples of markups. All right. So we've also incorporated many tools, many other tools to make the learning seamless in this class. We have Hangout sessions, so to use the Hangout sessions, you can basically click on Hangouts here. We have chat sessions. We've basically incorporated HipChat, which is an Atlassian tool, into this course. And basically HipChat is awesome because as projects are assigned in Jira, right, any comments or any project that's assigned in Jira shows up in the chat group. So all the students, they get emails about the project, or they also get notification even within the chat. So if I make any comments asking for status of a project, it shows up in the chat group. And even while the students are discussing about the different features they're working on, it shows up in the chat group too. Lastly, we teach our students SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. SQL is the language that that is used to communicate with the database. So it's a language that either a user users communicate with a database, with data structures in the database, or an application uses to communicate with data structures in the database. So this knowledge further strengthens a business analyst's knowledge. Because we teach them about back-end data structures and how they relate to each other. So this helps the students understand data models and how important they are in bringing an application to life. They also gain the skill to be able to query tables, to build reports, and validate data in a testing situation. Well, we teach our students SQL on Oracle databases run on Linux operating systems. This way, the business analyst can get technical skills such as data analysis, or in the process. So that's pretty much it for the presentation. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a good one.